I think I can quite proudly say that this is the chunkiest any of my bullet journals have ever been. Hi, it's Erin, and this is the Bodhi A5 dot grid journal from PHOMEMO. This was my second journal for 2024, and it is almost full. It's pretty chockers, and I have to give the journal a shout out before we flip through it because look at this binding. Look at this. I've thrown so much at this journal and it's not even breaking a sweat. It's in such great condition. None of the signatures have separated. I haven't had a single problem, so very happy to report this journal's held up beautifully. We're going to flip through this journal from cover to cover and see exactly how I really used it, starting all the way from the beginning where I didn't like the end sheets and the nameplate page, so I took matters into my own hands and changed them. I actually did this on a live stream with my channel members, so if you are a member of the channel on the Jubilant Journals or Page Majors levels, you can check that out. This is my grid spacing guide. And it's still going strong. I actually used this same grid spacing bookmark for the spacing planning stages of my new journal for 2025 as well. I had been planning to do a new one for that, but this one still works, so I just brought it with me. And this initial theme, I remember being so relieved to set this up because in my journal before this one, for the first half of the year, I was using a watercolor paper journal and I was challenging myself to use paint in every setup and I was finding it really draining and tiring, and it felt like coming home to go back to using stickers and washi tapes. This is not really incomplete. I will fill this out at the very end of December, very beginning of January. That's just when I like to update these things, but this is my social media tracker. And I wasn't really into goals for 2024. It was kind of nice having a year off them. I definitely did not achieve this one, but hey, I did achieve this one. Mostly frivolous goals for me throughout 2024. I am setting some for 2025 though, so we're going back to being focused next year, hopefully. The content planner always ends up looking like a mess, and I like that because it means it's being used. There are some spreads in here that did not get used though. Here's one. My future log for the first half of next year. That's okay, I just didn't need it this time. I would rather have it and not need it than not set it up and wish that I had one. Likewise with my monthly reset, I wouldn't want to be without it, but I didn't really use it that much. I did some of this stuff, I just didn't mark it off. Didn't do all of it, but I did some of it. And then there is my swatches spread, which I've come to the conclusion that I don't really need this anymore. While I'm using journals that just have white paper like this, I don't really need to include a swatch spread every time. And also, I know my markers pretty well at this point. Anything that's got the black sticky notes over it is just personal information that you don't need to see. And sometimes I do just write a couple of notes on a spread and that's all that gets used. Oh, July. I love this theme so much. And I should mention also, if any of the individual themes take your fancy and you want to see them come together and what I used and get links to everything, there are links to each of the individual setup videos in the description down below too. So you can find anything that you like the look of here in case you missed any of these setups throughout the year. There is also a flip through and individual setup videos for the first half of the year too, in a different journal, not in this one. I did not set out to make something that felt like Bridgerton. Right after Bridgerton season 3 came out, it was just really good timing. The Paper Monogatari Summer in Paris, is that what it was called? Collection came out and Anna sent it to me and I fell in love. And this is what resulted, and this was one of my favorite setups through the year. Pastel colors just make me really happy. Clashing patterns like this makes me really happy. I used this setup quite comprehensively, which always also makes me happy. July is a good time of year. I really like hanging out in July. I do have some bleed through here though from my fountain pen spread. Fountain pens do not play very nicely with the PHOMEMO paper. I've learned that the hard way. You can see these like this one here, the green and the red have kind of bled through here. Not the end of the world, but I learned my lesson. Something I did a lot throughout 2024 that I had not included in my bullet journal before was these memory keeping spreads. I really had a good time just collecting bits and pieces from the things that I did throughout the year, the places I went, the experiences that I had, combining them onto pages like this. I'm moving away more recently from adding text to these pages, like writing my thoughts, and moving more towards just the ephemera and the photographs, because that's much quicker and easier to set up, and I still really like the aesthetic of it. I feel like the memories are still in there, but it's a little bit less work. August was one of my favorite setups. I feel like I'm going to say that about all of them, but no, truly, this was one of my favorite setups to do. I was just feeling the witchy vibes and I did not want to wait for October, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because this just came together so effortlessly. I really had such a good time with this. So many elements went into this. I've got bits and pieces from all over. I really worked through my stash to get some of these together. And the different weeklies, I was really enjoying setting the weeklies up on live streams with my lovely subscribers. That's something I really want to continue doing through 2025. I didn't have time to do it for December, unfortunately, but I enjoy it so much, and it really does motivate me to set up the weeklies. And if the weeklies are set up, I'm going to use them because they're there. I actually haven't set up the December ones yet, and it's the end of December, so there's no point now. That's okay. I also went to quite a few fantasy balls this year with my beautiful friend Rachel, and each one of those gets a spread too. They were so much fun. I say quite a few. I went to 3, 2 with Rachel, 1 with Chris. Also went on a family trip in August, so lots of memory keeping going on here. That was so much fun. And a lot of this memory keeping I actually did on camera in my vlogs, so if you want to see that happen, see how it all comes together, the vlog series is the place to check out. I have a playlist for them on my channel. I learned my lesson with that fountain pen ink. I've actually added this on some watercolor, like sketchbook paper, and just washi taped it in. No bleeding for me this time. Oh, September. I'm so happy with how this theme came together. This PET tape from the washi tape shop had been living rent-free in my mind since I got it, and I just hadn't worked out how I was going to execute my vision for it until I came across this kind of gold bronze wrapping paper in a discount variety store, and that just brought it all together, and I had such a good time setting this up. It was much simpler than it looks. I also got to put my Cricut to use for the headings, and you know I love an illuminated letter font, so that made me really happy. It's funny now that I'm looking at this, I think the font that I've used for the rest of the word after the illuminated letter is very much inspired by the lettering style that I've been taking calligraphy classes in lately, so that's good to know. I can use it as a reference. It's really interesting to see my content planner evolving over the course of the year because I'm finding ways to make it more applicable to how I really need to use it, and that's really just based around YouTube things. I also really love seeing a very lived-in weekly. It makes me happy. This time I've done my fountain pen ink swatching on sticker paper. I wasn't expecting to receive these ones from friends at a social night, and so I wanted to swatch them immediately, but I didn't want to ruin the book. So onto the sticker paper they went, which typically just lives in the pocket at the back of my journal. Lots of random organizing stuff. It gets its own unheralded spread in the journal. These Tifosi journals with heaps and heaps of pages are fantastic for that because you never have to think, am I going to run out of pages if I include this area for planning this one thing? I've never had to worry about running out of pages since I started using these ones. October turned out to be very different to what I had in my head, but I really liked the way everything came together in the end. I was away for half of this month, so I didn't get to enjoy this theme as much as I would have liked, and as a result there were also only 2 weeklies because I ran away out of the country for the rest of the month. Went and celebrated my birthday overseas. Oh, 3 weeklies. 2.5. And you can tell the week of a trip when everything's getting really, really hectic and I'm making lists and I'm crossing things off and pages end up looking like this. Here's another one of those dog's breakfast organization things. In the lead up to that trip, I was trying to make sure I had videos scheduled for the time I was away. So this was my workflow list just to make sure that I had all of the ducks in a row, essentially. I was also running workshops and cutting sticker sheets for those. And under here is my tax appointment preparation checklist, so not for your eyes, that one. Oh, November. I would not have expected this to end up being actually maybe my favorite theme that I did all year. I really had no idea what I wanted to do with November going in. I was feeling really overwhelmed. I didn't have ideas, and I jumped on a members only live with my channel members, the Jubilant Journals and the Page Majors level, and they helped me come up with this theme, and it is exquisite. I should just ask for their input more often. This content planner was a game changer for me. Having these little sticky notes with my video ideas, and being able to then move them around if I change my mind about where I needed things to go, which happens pretty often. Some videos are more labor intensive, and so sometimes I move up one that is quicker to make. That really helped. I ended up doing that again for December, and then have been so busy through December I've barely touched my journal, so that's a shame, but maybe we'll bring it back for February, because I have already done January in my next journal, and I did not include that kind of content planner. Maybe it'll make a comeback later on, you'll have to stick around and see. You can see here I'm really leaning into just including images and stickers and washi tapes and things in my memory keeping. I've got some extra space here for November. I don't know if I'll fill that in or if it just will stay the way that it is. I've got something earmarked to go here. But either way, it doesn't really matter because you're still getting the memories, right? It's all there on the page. For the mystery journal, which is a bullet journal that I set up for 6 months of the year and then give away, I do all of that filming ahead of time, so I'm filming setups for January through to June, but I have to finish them throughout November and December and then send the journal away. So by the time we get to like May and June, I don't always remember what I did. And when I go to edit the videos, I don't always remember which pens I've used. So this way, I thought it would be good to have a list of what I've used in each setup, and then I can refer back to those pen swatches and make my life easier when it comes to mystery journal editing time. Some more memory keeping here. I have some thank you cards from some of my clients. I do still do some photography. It's not my main gig anymore. That is YouTube now. Just covering up some client information there, but so lovely to be able to include those in my journal. And then we're into December, the very last of the monthly themes for this one. I love this wrapping paper. I'm really glad that I used it in the journal because I didn't end up really being much of a present person this year. My family has never really been very gift oriented, so we didn't end up with very many gifts under our Christmas tree, which is totally fine. We're not gift love language people, but it made me really happy that I got to use this wrapping paper somewhere. See, again, I've gone for this system with the sticky notes, but December was too hectic. It's okay. I had all of this information in my Google Calendar. It's not like I was disorganized as a result of not using this, but it is what it is. I can't be mad at myself for letting go of something when I'm really busy. As much as this is a tool to help with productivity and to keep me organized, it is generally the first thing that goes. These were supposed to be weeklies, clearly. I never set up those weeklies because I just didn't have time, unfortunately. I kept thinking I'll wait until I schedule the live stream, and then I never scheduled the live to set up the weeklies, so it didn't happen, but I can't be mad at myself. This is supposed to be a fun, helpful tool. I'm supposed to enjoy it, and getting mad at myself for not including things is not enjoying the thing, so I'm just not gonna allow myself to do that. This is from my lovely channel member Shima. She sent me a gorgeous Christmas present. And this is actually from the Akatar themed ball that I went to way back in February, and I found it in my drawer and thought, that's actually really nice. I should include that. I really like this little tip-in system for these thicker pieces of paper, even though they're still thick and they're still gonna bulk up the journal. Somehow I feel like they bulk it up less if you give them some freedom like that. I may have made that up in my head, it may not be true at all, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spreads and a little bit of a swatchy swatch at the back left over. Some extra pictures that I printed out from our trip back in August. There is nothing in the pocket. That is the complete flip through of my July to December bullet journal for 2024. It's been a bit of push and pull for me with the journal throughout 2024. I've had months where I really didn't feel that I wanted to use it, and I've had months where I've loved every second, so it'll be interesting to see how 2025 goes. Technically this video is going live on Christmas Day my time, potentially Christmas Eve your time, so if you are a Christmas celebrator, Merry Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful day, and if you're not, I still hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you get to eat something amazing and get a beautiful message from someone you love. If you're keen to keep watching, I will pop 2 links up on the screen for you now. The first link is the flip through to the journal before this for the first half of 2024 in case you want to see where we came from. And the second link is to the new setup in my new journal for 2025 in case you want to see where we're going. Wishing you all the best for 2025, and I hope that your journal brings whatever you need it to bring to your life.